Mary, Roger, thank you both for coming along. Appreciate this is the first joint session we've had. I've had a chance to meet with each of you separately and talk about mediation and how the process works and what we're trying to achieve here. Just before I start, do you have any questions about that at all, about how things will work here?
No, I haven't.
Roger?
I just want to go on with it, Nikos.
Okay. One of the benefits of meeting with each of you separately to begin with is it gives me a chance obviously to explain the mediation process and how it works and what we're trying to achieve here, but more importantly it gives each of you a chance to talk to me about what your concerns are, for me to get a little bit of background information, and I found that very helpful to be able to do that. And interestingly enough, what I find is when people come to mediation, there's a clear breakdown in communication. And what that tends to mean is that you each don't really know what the other is hoping to achieve. And interestingly for me, hearing the two of you speaking, you've actually got some common concerns and you may not actually realise that. But I think just to start this session off, it might be useful just to recap what the main concerns are and what you hope to achieve at mediation. I mentioned to both of you the importance of listening to each other. And I also talked to you about some ground rules about letting the other speak, and then of course you would each get a chance to to have your say. So Mary, if you could start first, and Roger, if you don't mind, let Mary finish, and then I'll let you come back in.
Well, I want the children to see their dad, but it's not fair for them to be mucked about, and he just turns up and wants to see them, and it's not always convenient, and he just thinks I'm being difficult.
I'm not mucking them about.
Well, you are. You don't understand that. And then they're put in this difficulty of saying to their friends, "Oh, I can't come round because my dad's here," and then they fall out with their friends, but they don't want to. They won't see you. Well, you just don't understand. You just won't see it from their point of view.
But I'm their dad, Mary.
Well, that's not their whole life. You were away at work half the time. They didn't even know you were around.
See, this is what it's like. You know.
Okay, we'll take it one step at a time. What the two of you are hearing the other say would appear to be conflicting. I'm actually hearing something that is more consensual. What Mary is actually saying is there are difficulties with contact, but she actually wants you to have contact.
Well, I want to see the kids.
Okay, and what you're saying, I think, is what you're both saying is that the present arrangements don't seem to be working particularly well. No. So one of the things we can do here, and a big part of mediation, is to help the two of you communicate a little bit better. Because it's quite common when parties separate for that to break down. You're not communicating properly, and that's where misunderstandings arise. So one thing we could perhaps do here with regard to you seeing the children is talk about how that might work. What suits the two of you, what suits the children, what's best all round. Because I understand, Roger, you mentioned you have shift work, so we need to obviously take that into account.
But I mean, I get my rota, you know, and I should be seeing the kids regularly, Mary. I mean, you've just not allowed that. You know, I know you and I have got our problems, but you can't keep me from the kids. Well, you've also got them talking about me.
You've got a rota. Why don't you just give me the rota and say, or look at your calendar and say, can I see the kids on these dates? But you never do that. It's always turning up and demanding them.
Every time I try and speak to you, you just shout at me.
Well, because you bully me. And then it's my fault. Okay. And also, you were when we were together, you were out drinking, you were working, or you were at the pub. And then, how do I know you're not going to be at the pub and then seeing the children?
What, at the pub with the kids?
No, I didn't say that. You see, you don't even listen.
Okay. I mean, part of this is obviously for the two of you to express how you're feeling and what your concerns are. But we need to try and keep things forward focused, keep things positive. Okay.
I just want to see the kids regularly.
Well, let's discuss that in a moment, okay? What I'm trying to do just now is just identify the main issues that you want to discuss, and obviously the arrangements for the children are a priority. Is there anything else you want to discuss today?
Yeah, the money. We need to sort out the money, Mary. You know, going forward, you know, I can't keep giving you £1,000 a month. I mean, I can't do that.
Why? You earn 80,000 a year,
know,
and
but
they're your children too. Yeah. You're going on as if I'm spending your money on myself.
No, but I'm running 2 houses now. So how do you do that?
Okay.
Plus, I want to sort the whole thing out. I do, because we need to do that.
We can only take things one step at a time. There's only so much we can actually achieve in one mediation session. So, the children, sort out arrangements with the children. Money, because I know you were concerned about money and about the fact that short term Roger would make the money available to pay the bills, etc. And you obviously have a concern about coping with that. And then, of course, we have to look at things longer term as well.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be fair? Is there anything else you want to...
No, that's right.
No,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if we go back to the arrangements for the children, okay? Now, the children are at school Monday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell me what kind of activities they have during the week or at weekends? Because it's important that you're both on the same page as far as that's concerned.
Well, Katie doesn't really have anything as yet, but she wants to start ballet lessons, which would start after the October week. William's got BB on a Friday night, and then Lindsay has a youth club that she's going to on Thursday nights.
Does William play football as well?
Yeah, how's he getting
Well,
on his football?
he's doing his football at the weekend. He goes to football training.
Okay.
I'd quite like to be getting involved in that.
Well, fine, you could turn up and take him to football training at the weekend, but when have you ever said that?
Because you've not given me the chance.
So you're quite happy to be involved in the children's activities, to take them, to be the taxi driver effectively?
Yeah, as long as my shifts but I can work out my shifts, and you know, it might be the odd one I'll miss, but I should be able to do most of that.
How long in advance do you get notification of your shifts?
Realistically, I can get up to 2 months notice. Sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes things change.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I should know.
Well, that would be fine, because, I mean, because I'm working just during the school, I'm off when the schools are off, being a classroom assistant. So, I mean, you know, I'm always around at the weekend, and I'm home by usually about 3:30. So, I mean, you know exactly what I'm doing, so it must be easy for you just to look at your rota and sort something out.
Well, why don't we do that then, instead of all this carry on we've been having for the last few months?
Okay. Generally, what kind of shift pattern do you have? What kind of times do you work during the week? I mean, do you work weekends as well?
Because of the stage I'm at, I do mainly work during the week now. You know, occasionally I have to work a weekend day, but not that often anymore. So, I mean, most weekends I can pretty much get off.
So would it be helpful to look then at weekends primarily, because the kids are at school during the week? I mean, I understand you're not living too far away from the family home, so you're quite close by as well.
I mean, I just want to see my kids. It's not just William. I mean, I need to see the girls as well. I mean, going to stop. I don't know what you're saying to Lindsay, but
how have the children been coping with the?
Well, Lindsay's not speaking to me.
Well, because she says that according to Lindsay, you told her that I was a nutter, so of course she got very upset.
Well, I don't think I used that phrase. I don't think I did.
Well, what did you say then?
Well, you know, you've had some problems.
Well, that's when the children were born. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah, well, whatever's happened, you carried them on because you kept shouting at me.
Okay, it's very, very important moving forward that you do not make any comments in front of the children about each other. It doesn't help. What you have to remember, I mean, you're finding this, I'm assuming, quite difficult a process.
It's difficult.
Yeah. So you're adults, you're fully grown adults. How do you think young children feel about it? I mean, how do you think they're coping? I mean, Lindsay's 15, but she's still just a young girl.
Yeah. When
William's even younger, and Katie is only 5. Yeah. So they're confused. They're unsure as to what's happening. So that you've got to understand that. And if you say something bad about Mary, and the children hear that, you're saying something bad about their mother. And likewise, if you say something bad about Roger, you're running down their father. Think about how that makes them feel.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you, whatever differences you've had, whatever has brought about the separation, that really is a matter between the two of you, and you can't let that spill over and affect the children.
Well, I'll do. Well, I mean, I've hardly been seeing them, so I've not really been saying anything to them. I'll do my best.
Okay.
Well, if you didn't call me names over the phone and upset me, it'd be much easier for me not to react to it.
Let's look in a bit more detail about the arrangements for you seeing the children, but also the communication between you, because during the week you may want to give the kids a phone, see how they're getting on.
Of course I would.
And there may be some information that Mary has to pass to you about something that's happened at school, or if they fall ill, whatever. So we'll talk about that as well. But from what I'm hearing, contact might work best at weekends.
Yeah.
For the main part, anyway.
Yeah.
Unless I can pretty much get most of the weekends off. So why can't I see the kids, you know?
Okay.
Well, if I knew he was going to see them, that would be
Well, I
fine, because the
will.
children would know, and
Okay.
we could plan our lives.
So what sort
around
of
it.
period over the weekend would you want to see them?
I could pick them up at lunchtime on Saturday. I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, how long can I have them? I mean, I'd take them overnight, you know, I'd bring them back the next day. I don't know what Lindsay wants to do just now, though. I'm conscious she's not speaking to me. But I mean, can you
She's
help me there, you know, because I know, we will move on, but
Yeah.
going to help me there.
Lindsay's very much at an age where, although when she turns 16, it's up to her entirely. At 15, the courts will listen to what she's got to say. So her views are very, very important.
Oh.
And as I'm sure you're aware, you know, a teenager has her plans, has her friends.
I don't
and
want to.
very much you have to work around
Yeah,
that.
I will work around that, but I do want to see her. She's my oldest girl, you know. I want to see her.
Yeah, but she won't want to spend every Saturday night with her dad, will she?
No, but I could take her out for some tea with the other kids and things like that earlier on a Saturday, and if she wants to go and do something else, she can do that. I mean, how does that sound?
No, well, yeah. I mean, if you consult her, I'm not saying it should be all her own way, but at least if I knew she was going to be consulted, then I would be a lot happier.
What should I do? Should I call her or text her or something? What should I do?
Well, she's got her own mobile, so I don't see any problem about.
Will she speak to me?
Well, you can start with texting her.
Well, okay. I mean, Katie won't be a problem. I mean, Katie misses me. I know she really misses me.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Oh.
So you're talking initially about overnight on a Saturday? Is that what you're looking at?
I don't know if Lindsay will come, so it might just be the
Subject
two younger
to Lindsay,
ones.
yes.
Well, I mean, I would be happier if we could maybe just have an experiment. Could we just try it once or twice and see how it goes?
I'm okay with that because I think it'll be okay. It will be, you know, it'll be okay. I'm not going to do anything bad.
The important thing to remember about the mediation process, as I explained to you, is you are in control of this. Okay, nobody's telling you what to do. You're entirely flexible. You can make contact arrangements just now for a couple of weeks, see how they go. Come back here again. We'll discuss.
Can we do that? Can
Yes,
we come back in a few
absolutely,
weeks?
yeah, and
Right.
that would be the
Yeah.
plan anyway, because
Right.
part of it is not just to decide what happens; it's also to review what you've been doing and to
Right.
see what has worked, what's
Well,
not worked.
That makes
A little
sense
bit
to
of
me.
trial and error.
Mhm.
So you know you can certainly do that, but you have control of this process. You can decide what you want to do, not your lawyers, not a court. You decide
Right.
what's best for you and your circumstances and your children.
That's what I want to do. I want to see the kids. I mean, if you're okay with that, can we start? Can we just
Yeah.
start? Because I
The,
missed
the
them.
other thing you might want to consider, given the fact Lindsay's 15 and obviously she feels like the big sister, and you know William's just a silly wee brother and Katie's a silly wee sister, you might want to see her on her own.
I'm okay with that as well.
Maybe a couple of hours during the week, one weekend, one weekday you take her out for something to eat on her own.
Well, I mean,
Would that be
she
possible?
stays up later than the other children, obviously, because she's older, and also the whole school time, because you know the other two are at primary school. So, I mean, I don't know. Would you be able to get away from work in time to pick her up from school?
I can get
maybe?
away at 6 and take her to Bars Road for something to eat.
Okay, good. And I think just communicate with each other as best you can, whether it's by text or whether it's by a brief phone call. All you need to discuss is contact arrangements. I mean, are you happy for Roger to phone Lindsay direct about any sort of midweek arrangement? Or would you want him to speak to you
Do
first?
you want me to let you know? Or, I mean,
Well,
Well, I think it's best to let Mary know, but
yeah.
okay. I mean,
Well, maybe could you first, if you're texting her, could you text copy it to
Yeah,
me
I'll
as
copy
well,
it. I'll
and then
copy it.
I
I
know
mean,
what you're saying.
I'm not trying to do anything bad here. I just want to see the kids. It's just not been easy.
and initially, if the communication is really just about the mechanics of what you've agreed to do, you don't need to get into discussions about anything else. You know, I'm going to pick the kids up this Saturday, 1 o'clock. This is what we're going to do. I'll bring them back a certain time, so Mary knows what's happening. Mary, you obviously let Roger know if there's any difficulty, any problems, if they're not well. That's the basic communication you need at the moment, and that takes away a lot of pressure. And as you were talking about, uncertainty as to what the arrangements are.
I'll give you a break as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then see, I can't plan anything. Well, I haven't
No,
been able to plan because I've never known, are you going to turn up or not turn
Oh,
up and take the kids? So I can't even say to a friend, let's do something, because I don't know what's going on. Whereas,
Okay.
you know,
that's
if we
what's
arrange
going on.
something-
Because can we
For the
can
well,
we sort that out?
for the next couple of weeks, you're going to pick the kids up on Saturday around lunchtime, 1 o'clock.
12,
12,
1
1
o'clock.
o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, no,
And
that's fine.
the understanding is that's subject to Lindsay and any plans
Yeah.
that she may have with her friends. Okay, you need to work around that, and you bring them back
What time do you want them on a Sunday?
Well, it's easier just to make it, say, 1 o'clock till 1 o'clock on Sunday. Then
That's
it's
okay.
Okay.
no
And then
confusion.
you'll speak to Lindsay and Mary about seeing Lindsay for a couple of
Yeah,
hours
I
during the
could
week.
do that maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday night.
Okay.
I'll make sure that I'm sure I can.
Okay. And just for today as well, we talked about the short-term money arrangements, and Mary was a bit concerned about the money side.
I mean, it's just difficult for me just now. You know, I know this big figure. You know, everybody thinks this big figure, but when you break it down on a monthly basis, and you're paying rent, and you're doing this, and it's not easy. I mean, I'm not prying, but have you done anything about getting tax credit or anything, or sorting out the council tax, or?
No, I haven't done anything. I don't know where to start. I mean,
Okay.
you wanted to deal with all the money. You always said you would deal with the money, and now you're saying, have I done? Well,
Or you
I
can
don't know
get,
what I'm
from
supposed
what
to
I
do.
know, you can get tax credit because you're working, but you've got a lower income, so you can, because my income's not there, my understanding is you'll get a benefit.
Well, I didn't know that. Why?
Oh.
Why would I get benefits when my husband's got on a big salary? Why would I
Because-
even think of?
Okay.
Oh, I could get benefits.
Well,
Okay, that's maybe something that you can check out between now and the next meeting,
Yeah.
because certainly a council tax, if you're the sole adult, you might be entitled to a discount.
you get a 25%
Yeah.
reduction,
So,
so that'll come off the monthly outgoings for the house,
Okay.
which I'm paying for, but it'll come out, it'll
Well,
bring
I
it
mean, they're
down.
your children as well, not just my
I know,
children. You're
I
saying
know.
that as though you shouldn't be paying.
No,
Mary's concern was that at any time you might stop paying that. I mean, we're talking again short term. Could you give her the reassurance that won't happen?
yeah, but I mean, could you give me the reassurance that you'll check these things out? Because obviously, if you could get a bit more money coming in, then it would make things a bit easier for me, and I'll spend it on the kids. I'll take Lindsay out and I'll do things with them. I'm not going to go mad.
Well, maybe if you gave me some information about the finances, if I knew something, I would,
Okay.
have a
Well,
starting point.
what I've given both of you, or I will give you today, is another form. Sorry about all the forms to fill out, but it is to do with the finances, and what it will ask each of you is to fill out as best as you know. As I appreciate you might not know all the information, Mary, but what income you have, what expenses you have, and also to go back to the point you talked about earlier about looking at the overall picture as well. Mary, you obviously are struggling a little bit with all this information, so it would be helpful for you to know what there actually is, so then we can begin to discuss options and see how things can be sorted out.
So, I mean, I can do that. I mean, I can fill that in.
Okay.
And you can fill it in, Mary, but if there's any blanks, I can fill it in.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so we've discussed contact and we've got some short-term arrangements sorted out, and I think we've discussed a little bit about the money again, shorter term, and what our slightly longer term plan is. So when we come back for the next meeting, we'll obviously talk about the contact again, see how that's worked and see what has to be looked at, if anything. We'll look at the finances, the monthly income and expenditure, and also we'll begin to look at the overall picture as well.
Okay.
I mean, are you going to give us those forms, or will you email them, or what happens?
I'll give them to you before you leave.
Right,
Okay.
okay. Right, thanks very much.
Okay,
That's
thank
great.
you both.
Thank you.
Yep.